So in the previous lecture, we have talked about KNN classifier, a classifier which is of lazy nature, the classifier which starts working when an n tuple is given for the classification purpose. Even if data is given to the class, data is given for classification purpose, it won't do anything with that particular data. As soon as n tuple arrives, then it will start working. Therefore, it will be a lazy tuple. So what is done in this particular classifier is whatever observations are there. So this will be the database of observations. Say x1, x2, xk variables are there, and one class label y, either 0 or 1. So suppose this class label is dichotomous in nature. So what we are doing over here is whenever this particular data set is given, this KNN classifier just accepts this particular data. So whenever a new observation comes in, suppose some new observation is there, say which takes values or value of x1 as t1, value for the corresponding random variable x2 as t2, tn, tk. So whenever a new tuple, k tuple comes in, at that particular time it starts working. What is the distance of this particular observation from first observation? What is the distance between this sample entry and this sample entry? So all these distances will be calculated, and based on these distances, which are the smallest five distances, if we are talking about five nearest neighbors, then which are the five smallest distances, those five observations will be taken out and they will be treated to be nearest neighbor for this k tuple. And based on how these five are behaving, according to that, its behavior will be characterized. If among these five, three are having class label as 1, then these will be said to have class label 1. If four are having class label 1, these will be classified to be 1. So in short, whatever is the majority among these five observations, if majority is 1, then this particular k tuple will be classified as having class label as 1. If the majority is 0 among those five observations, then this k tuple will be classified to have a class label as 0. But there is problem, as discussed in the previous lecture. If there are 1,000 observations, then every time whenever this k tuple is to be classified, we need to find these k distances, these 1,000 distances. This is a k tuple, and these are the 1,000 observations. So from each and every observation in the database, what is the distance of this k tuple, that needs to be determined, because unless and until we do that, we cannot find out who are the nearest neighbors for this particular k tuple. And therefore, whenever observation comes in, this process will start calculating distances, and it is going to take much time. As the database becomes more and more bulkier, naturally we wish to have more efficiency in this classifier, and in order to have more efficiency, we will be increasing database size. So these number of observations in the database, those we will ideally expect to be quite large. But if they are very large in number, if there are many observations, there are in say sufficiently large observations in database, then we have to calculate distance from each and every observation from the database, and therefore it's going to take much time. And that is one of the drawback of this knn classifier. It takes a very high execution time. So when you are executing this knn classifier, even if in using software, then also it is going to take a moderate amount of time. It is going to take certain amount of time in order to take in order to come to some conclusion. So that was the first drawback or demerit of this knn classifier. The second one was uh, that we have discussed in the previous lecture, that if some suppose out of these k variables, suppose first variable is having a very large range, whereas say second variable is having very small range. So whatever discrepancies, whatever distances are there on first observation, suppose if we consider this fourth and fifth observation, so they are very nearby each other. All these values are very nearby each other, but this value is say 10 units. But and therefore this particular distance will be quite blown up. That distance will be a larger distance. But on this particular scale, what this 10 costs, what this 10 means, these are different values of x1 for 10,000 entries. So among that, where this 10 deviation of 10, where does it stands, whether that 10 is in a acceptable range for that particular variable or whether it is too much for that particular variable. So that particular distance needs to be standardized, needs to be normalized for these things, for other values of x1. So whenever we are seeing the results of IIT or any national level examinations, most of the times they are giving the results in terms of percentiles. So someone might have scored, suppose in June 2020 there was one exam and someone has scored say 98 marks, and in June 2021 someone has scored, say suppose same person has again given the examination and he has got 95 marks. So it doesn't means that in 2021 he has scored less marks. Now suppose in June 2020 the highest mark was 100 and there were three students who have got 100 marks, then there were five students who had got 99 marks, and there were two students who have got 98 marks, and among them the subject that we are talking about, the person that we are talking about, he is one of them. But in June 2021, suppose he is the only one person who has got 95 marks. The second person who has got marks less than 95, that person just he has got say 92 marks, and there are three persons. So the topper is on 95, second topper will be on 92, and there will be three persons. So comparing these two data sets, these 95 looks good than, sorry, this 95 looks good than this 98. So even if he has got 98 marks here, there are eight students ahead of that particular student. But here, even if he has got 95 marks, he is the topper. So these happens because of the different difficulty levels in June 2020 examination and June 21 examination. So in 98 and 95, these directly cannot be compared. So if these, suppose 100 is not there, suppose 99, that person has got suppose there are five students who has got 99 marks, and accordingly the data distribution is given. So where this 98 stands in terms of this 99, so if 99 is considered to be 100, where this 98 will fall. So this 99 will be shifted to 100. Suppose we will make some mapping where this 99 will be converted to 100. In that particular mapping, in that particular transformation, where this 98 will stand. So it will be say 98.7 or something like that. So this is the percentile. So similarly, this is the topper. So here 95 will be mapped to 100, and accordingly all other values will be mapped. So whatever, suppose in a particular exam, the that exam was highly difficult, and the topper was say 62 marks. So even if someone has got 57 marks, those are quite acceptable, those are quite satisfactory marks, because this 62, when it is converted to 100, this 57 will fall somewhere around 90. So in this way, effect of that particular column, effect of this particular column will be reduced. So whatever values are there now, if we talk about percentiles, then percentiles are comparable. So what was your percentile in June 2020 examination, and what is your percentile in June 21 examination? Those values are in comparable space. So that is what we are doing over here. This x1 may have its own range, x2 may have its own range as well as unit, and therefore they are not on the similar platform to compare. And therefore what we are doing is this x1 will be measured out of 1. So all these values of x1, they will be mapped in between 0 to 1. Similarly, these x2 values will be mapped in between 0 to 1. Xk values will be mapped in between 0 to 1. So whatever x1 variable is taking values, so this is the range, so all those values will be mapped on this particular range. So minimum value will be mapped to 0, maximum value will be mapped to 1, and all other values will be mapped accordingly. So similarly, if there is some other variable x2 which is having say different range, so for that particular thing also, this minimum will be mapped to 0, maximum will be mapped to 1, and all other values will be mapped accordingly. And we have seen one transformation, that x minus minimum divided by max minus minimum. So whatever observed value is there minus what is the minimum value of that particular variable. So suppose if we are talking about this ith observation, this ith observation for variable x1. So x1 minus x1 when observed on ith variable minus minimum of x1 divided by maximum of x1 minus minimum of x1. So by this particular transformation, which is also called as mean max transformation or mean max normalization, using this particular normalization, we will come to some we'll find some values which will be in between 0 to 1, and these values will be unitless values, and therefore they are comparable. So now these particular values are mapped to 0 to 1, these are also mapped to 0 to 1, therefore we can directly have comparison between them. Or if we are calculating distances, we can simply find in between two observations, we can find distance for x1, distance for x2, and we can simply add these distances because they are now on similar platform. So this is one aspect of normalization. So this second demerit, that different variables will be measured on different units, they may have different range values, that will be tackled using normalization. So min max, that one is one of the standard normalization technique. Then third one is what will happen if there are some categorical variables in the data. So finding distance between numerical variables, that is quite easy. But if there are some categorical variables in the data, then for those variables finding distance becomes difficult. Suppose this is the data set, and in this particular data set, suppose this particular column is having only values as say uh, 10, 20, either 10 or 20, or we can say have red and blue. Suppose if we are observing some color, and that color is either red or blue, so for different entries, different sample points, either this color will be red or um, blue. So when calculating, suppose this is the first observation, for this first observation and second observation, whenever we are calculating distance between these observations, suppose this is x1, x2, and so on. So x1 observed on first variable and first observation, and x1 observed on second observation, this difference will be considered, it will be squared. So that is the formula for Euclidean distance square. X1 minus x2 bracket square plus y1 minus y2 bracket square. Formula goes like this. But here we are having several variables, so instead of having notation as x1, x2, we will have notation as this one is x1 variable, x2 variable, x3 variable, and so on. Instead of x and y, we will have notation as x1, x2 up to xk. So these difference will be taken out, it will be squared, plus this difference will be added, plus this difference, square of this difference will be added. Now here, if it is red and if it is black, then what to do, that is the problem. Now we can, if these are the categories, suppose in this particular column we are having gender as male and female. So how to find difference between male and female, how to find that difference numerically? We should have a certain measure which will give us this particular difference in numeric concept. So this, suppose male and female, that makes a sense. So suppose these two observations, this particular observation is having gender value as male, this particular observation is having gender value as female. So calculating differences between these two observations is very easy if this was not there, because all other values, this minus this bracket square plus this minus this bracket square up to this minus this bracket square, that was quite easy job. But now because of this male and female, because of these categories, we cannot subtract m minus f, we cannot have this particular operation as m minus f. So what to do in such scenarios, that is the problem, because many of the times whatever data we are given with, that data is definitely going to contain categorical variables, and this is happening all the times, that your data may going to contain some gender values, it may going to contain some socio-economic status as poor, rich, middle class, it may going to contain state of residence, which state do you belong to. So such variables will be there which are not numeric variables, and therefore finding distance between different values of that variable will not be possible directly. So what alternative we are having is, suppose this is the setup, suppose this is a observation, say O1 and O2 in the database, x1, x2, xk, these are the variables. On x1 for this first variable we are having, on this x1 we are having reading for x1, on x2 we are having reading for observation 1. For xk we are having reading on 1. Here x1 observed on second unit, x2 observed on second unit, xk observed on second unit. So these are the values. So ideally distance between O1 and O2, this will be x11 minus x12 bracket square. So how far they are in terms of x1. So in the x1 space, suppose x1 is age. So in age space, how far they are from each other, it will be given by this particular thing. Then x21 minus x22 bracket square. So suppose this is weight. In terms of weight, how far they are from each other, how far these two observations are from each other, it will be given by this particular thing. So finally we will have the last term as xk1 minus xk2 bracket square, and square root of this will be Euclidean distance between O1 and O2. But now suppose instead of weight this is gender, and this first observation is having this value as m, this as female. So here m minus f bracket square, these kind of operations we need to perform. So whenever we are having categorical variables like this, the solution is provided like this. Now suppose we have normalized this particular data. The first thing is we will normalize the data. So whatever data we are having is the normalized data. So x1, x2, all these values will be in between 0 to 1 because they are normalized. So if that x11 is the maximum with respect to x1, then it will be 1. If it is minimum with respect to x1, there are different values of x1. Among them, if x11 is the minimum, then it will be mapped to 0. Otherwise it will be mapped to 1 if it is maximum, and if it is neither maximum nor minimum, then it will be in between 0 to 1. So accordingly, by doing normalization, min max normalization, these values have been opted. So once we have done that, now forget about this x2. On x2 we cannot have min max normalization wherever there are numeric values, because that min max algorithm, min max normalization, that demands minimum value in the column, maximum value in the column. So if the particular column is gender column, we cannot come up with minimum and maximum among that column. Therefore, we will not apply normalization on this particular column. Other numeric variables, they will be normalized using min-max algorithm, and we will come up with this standardized or normalized data. Now, this x11 minus x12 bracket square. So what is the maximum possible value for x11 minus x12 bracket square? Now, x11, that is in between 0 to 1. This x11 is in between 0 to 1. x12, that is again in between 0 to 1. So this x11, it will be in between 0 to 1, x12, that will be again in between 0 to 1, and we are taking this particular difference, x11 minus x12. So it may happen that x11 is 0 and x12 is also 0. So in the first column this was the minimum, this was the, in the second column this was the minimum, and therefore both values have been mapped to 0, and therefore it may happen that 0 minus 0 bracket square. This is one case. Or what will happen, this x11 was minimum and x12 is the maximum in that particular column, and therefore it will be mapped to 1. So this difference will be 0 minus 1 bracket square. So even if it is negative sign, whenever we are squaring it, it is going to be plus 1. There is other possibility that this will be the maximum and this will be the minimum. So 1 minus 0 bracket square, again 1. So every time that difference is going to be in between 0 and 1, because we are taking differences of two numbers which are in between 0 to 1. So it is just like taking difference between two standard uniform random variates in between 0 to 1. So if we consider uniform 0 1 distribution, and if we take any two values from that particular distribution, any two numbers from the distribution, and if we suppose x and y both are uniform 0 1, and if we consider distribution of x minus y, we take range for that x minus y as -1 to +1, because that is the range where x minus y can the value of x minus y can lie. But if we are considering distribution of x minus y bracket square, then that will lie in between 0 to 1 only. So this difference x11 minus x12, this is always going to be in between 0 to 1. So we will consider this particular aspect here. So this difference is maximum it can be 1, minimum it can be 0 square of this difference. So similarly what we will consider here is difference between male and female will be taken as a maximum difference, because there are only two categories. One has taken this category, and on other hand there is different category, and the other observation, other unit has taken that other category. So there are only two categories. So either this end or that end, either male or female, there are only two possibilities, and we should have maximum difference between these two values. So because these are the only two categories, male and female, so these are the only two categories, and if someone is has taken this particular category as the class as the observation value, and someone is having this as the observation value, then this difference should be attributed as a largest difference, because these were the only two categories, and someone has taken this category and someone has taken the other category. Therefore this difference should be mapped to 1. This difference should be considered to be 1. So whenever there are class level, whenever in a particular categorical variable there are only two possible values, two values for that particular category, in that particular case this difference is taken to be 1. If difference between male and female, that difference will be taken to be 1. Or it may happen that this one is F, this one is male, still we will take this difference to be 1. So if we take this difference as -1, then again we are having some nomenclature, we are having some hierarchy, as male is superior to female, female is inferior to male, such kind of things will happen, and therefore F minus M is -1. So we will not do like that, because anyhow even if we take 1 or -1, we are going to square it, we are going to square it. Therefore simply if the given attribute, if the given categorical variable takes two values, then difference between these two values will be taken to be 1. And if there are, suppose, two observations as O2 and O3, and both are male observations, suppose there is another observation as O3, suppose both are female observation, so this O2 is female, O3 is female. So considering this variable, considering gender as a variable, they are not distinct from each other in a gender space. On a gender line, they are not distinct from each other, as both these persons are female, and therefore this difference will be taken to be 0. So F minus F will be taken to be 0, M minus M will be taken to be 0, M minus F or F minus M, this will be taken to be 1. So even if in your data set there are some categorical variables, still we can tackle that particular system in KNN classifier. So whatever numerical variables are there, we can just have distance between them, like 9 minus 5 is equal to 4. Such differences can be calculated. But whenever a particular categorical variable is there which is taking two categories, then though difference between those two categories will be treated to be 1, and difference between same category, female minus female, difference between female and female, and as well as difference between male and female, that will be taken to be 0. So this is one way to deal with categorical variables. So even if your data set is containing categorical variables, still we will proceed with calculating the distances. So still we can calculate distance between O1 and O2. So we will not say that there are some non-numerical variables and therefore we will not be able to calculate Euclidean distance. Still we will calculate the Euclidean distance, but we will have some correction over here, that if the variable is categorical having two categories, then among those two categories distance will be taken to be 1, and that is the maximum allowable distance in normalized data. When your data is normalized, maximum distance you can have is plus or minus 1, and therefore we are taking this particular distance to be plus 1. If two categories are same, male and male, then difference will be taken to be 0. Similarly, if the categories are female and female, then difference will be taken to be 0. So this is one thing. Now suppose the same kind of data is there, say this is x1 variable, x2, x3 up to xk. You must be thinking about something. I'm going to address that particular point only. So you must be thinking that okay, there are, if this particular categorical variable is having two categories, then this approach is okay. But what is the guarantee that it will have only two categories all the time? So it may happen that certain categorical variable will have three categories. So in that particular sense, how to, in that particular case, how to have distance between these categories? So we'll address that particular concept. So suppose x1 is numeric variable, it is age, x3 is some other variable. So all these are numerical variables. So finding distance x1 observed on 1, x2 observed on 1, x3 observed on 1, xk observed on 1. Similarly, x1 observed on second unit, x2 observed on second unit, x3 observed on second unit, xk observed on third second unit. Similarly, this is x1 observed on third unit, x2 observed on third unit, x3 observed on third unit, and similarly xk observed on third unit. So while calculating distance between O1 and O2, these difference bracket square plus these difference bracket square plus these difference bracket square, that can be done. Now suppose this x2 is categorical variable. This is the categorical variable, and therefore direct method of calculating distance between two numbers cannot be applied over here. So what we can do is we can have this particular aspect here. But suppose x2 is color, and suppose for this x2 one it is say blue, this one is say black, and this one is say white. So there are three colors: blue, black, and white. So in entire data, this x2 is having three categories: either blue, black, or white. These are the only three categories, suppose. So for any observation, x2 variable will take value as either blue, black, or white. So how to calculate distance among these three categories in this particular scenario? Blue minus black, whether we take this value to be 1, then black, white, if we take this particular value to be 1, then there is going to be problem. So what we are going to do is whatever categories are there, blue, black, and white. So what we can have is black and white, they are contrasting with each other. They are completely opposite of each other. So we can have difference between them as 1. Blue and black, even if they are different, considering their shades, they are quite nearby to each other than white. So their difference will be ranked amongst, say, distance between blue and black will be considered to be say 0.5. Distance between blue and white will be considered as 1. Distance between black and white will be considered to be 1. So likewise, whatever data set is given, considering that data set, considering that particular categorical variable, we will come up with ideas where we will grade that particular difference. If there are three categories, then we will have grading of differences. So what, considering the scenario, what blue and black, how, considering the scenario in the sense, considering the data mining problem, what problem we are posed with, in that particular problem, what is the significance, what is the importance of this particular class label, and in that particular problem, in that particular data, what this class category having blue as a value, what does it mean? Category having black value, what does it mean? Similarly, category taking white value, what does it mean? Considering all these aspects, which one is more preferable and which are very contrasting with each other, based on that we'll come up with, and this is a problem specific. So problem to problem it may change. In one scenario we may assign 0.5 as the distance between blue and black. In some other scenario we may assign distance between blue and black to be 0.3. So depending on the scenario, depending on example, this is going to change case to case. So depending on the scenario, we will assign, we will come up with certain rankings, certain gradings of these differences. So these differences will be graded, and then those graded differences will be used over here in calculating, in evaluating this particular formula. So here, if blue and black is there, then this difference will be taken to be 0.5. If black and white is there, then that difference will be taken to be 1. So case wise, it is going to change depending on the situation and what that difference actually costs to us. Based on that, we may assign different graded values to these differences. So this is the third aspect of KNN classifier. So in, if there are categorical variables, how to deal with that, so that we have seen. If there are different variables measured on different units and different scales, then how to deal with them. For that we are having normalization. Now the only thing remains is the execution time. Is there any way in which we can tackle this execution time problem? KNN classifier, other these two things we have tackled: variables measured on different range values, and presence of some categorical variables in the data. These two problems we have tackled using normalization and this grading distance method. But what about execution time? If these two demerits have been resolved, then this KNN classifier can still become a good classifier to work with. But the only problem is now execution time. Somehow we can tackle this particular problem, then KNN classifier will have more practical applications. So we'll talk about this execution time. As said earlier, what we are doing is, suppose these are the observations in the database, and these are the variables, say x1, x2, x100, and this is the class label, say y. Suppose for simplicity it is taking only two values as 0 and 1. Now suppose a new observation comes in, suppose a new tuple, 100 tuple comes in, say that particular observation is say t1, t2 up to t100. So for that particular variable, for that particular observation value, realized value of x1 is t1, realized value of x2 is t2, and realized value of x100 is t100. So this n tuple or 100 tuple that needs to be classified based on the given data. So what we are doing over here is this, suppose this observation I will name it as say O test, observation for test. So this O test, what distance this O test is having from O1, that will be calculated. So distance between O1 and this, say OT, distance between OT, distance between O2 and OT, distance between O3 and OT. Similarly, if last observation is O10,000, then distance between O10,000 and OT will be calculated. So while calculating these differences, we are wasting much time, and therefore this execution time becomes unnecessarily larger. So what we can do is, suppose this difference comes out to be say point. Now this difference can exceed 1 because it is addition of several numbers which are in between 0 to 1, so that difference may go beyond 1 also. So suppose this difference comes out to be say 0.3, here it is 1.2, here it is 1.3, 0.5, something like these differences are coming. Now suppose these differences are coming in this, suppose first 5 differences have been finalized, and those differences are like this: 0.3, 1.2, 1.3, 0.5, 0.75. These are the differences of new observation from first 5 observations in the database. Now suppose I am calculating distance between O6 and OT. So I will have the formula as x1 minus x1 observed on this t observation. So x1 observed on 6 minus x1t bracket square plus x2 observed on 6th observation and x2 observed on test observation. Finally, x100 observed on 6th unit minus x100 observed on t test observation bracket square and square root of this. This is our formula. Now what I will do is I will take this particular difference first. Suppose that difference comes out to be say this difference comes out to be say zero point 0.9, x16 and x1t. So this difference comes out to be 0.9, it means its square is going to be 0.81. So all these are square terms, so none of them is going to be negative, so all these terms will get added up into 0.81. All these differences will get added up in 0.81. So whatever new difference is going to be whatever new difference we are going to have, that difference is going to be greater than 0.81. If all these differences are 0, then only exactly this value will be 0.81. Otherwise, what if there are some non-zero values for these differences, then all those squares will be added over here and 0.81 will get bulkier, 0.81 will get larger, and therefore this entire difference will be more than 0.81. So is there any need of calculating all the distances? Suppose here the values are like this. These differences are say 0.72. Here it is 0.73, 0.5, 0.75. Suppose these are the differences of first 5 observations. So if here it is 0.81, if this difference is 0.81, then this entire difference is going to be 0.81 or greater than 0.81. So suppose at the worst case, suppose all these observations are equal, so that their differences are 0. So even if those are 0, this entire difference is going to be 0.81, and therefore this sixth observation is at a distance of 0.81 from test observation, and these 5 observations are already we are having, which are near to the test observation, near in the sense they are having distance of less than 0.81. So there is no need of calculating these differences, because whatever these differences are, these are going to be the closest observation than this one. So there is no need of calculating these differences. So this is the approach that we are going to have in order to reduce this execution time. So what we will do is, even if there are k variables, so we will point out certain variables based on the data. So suppose we'll consider subset, say x1, x3, where there is a diversity in the data. We'll focus only on those particular variables, say x1, x3, x9, and x10. We'll point out only those 10 variables, and we'll calculate distances between observations, OT and O1, OT and O2, similarly OT and O10,000. These differences will be calculated in terms of only these four observations. So there will be four bracket terms only. Even if our variables, the variables here in database are k, but we will take difference in terms of only these four variables, and we will put a certain threshold value. Say t naught is the threshold value. So if any, suppose if we have calculated all these differences, so now we'll focus on only those differences which are greater than t naught. We'll focus only on those differences which are greater than t naught. So all other values will vanish. They are having no chance that they can be, sorry, not greater than. We'll focus on the differences which are less than equal to t naught. They should be less than that threshold difference. So if a particular, suppose this ot1, ot and o1, if this difference is greater than t naught, if this particular difference is greater than t naught, then there is no chance that o1 can be called as a neighbor of ot, and therefore we will skip that o1. We will not have any further calculation for o1. Similarly, if this difference is greater than t naught, we will skip o 10,000, that observation. So we will only out of these 10,000, so suppose we will come up with only say 87 observations which are having, for which the difference between them and the test observation is less than t naught. So threshold value will be set, and only those observations which are having distance less than t naught from O2, only those will be considered. And when I'm saying distance, this distance will be calculated with respect to only these four variables. Not all the variables will be considered. So something like subset selection, what we do in regression, it is kind of it is like that. Instead of considering all these variables, we'll consider just prominent variables, and we will calculate differences based on these four variables. So if we are calculating distances based on only these four variables, then that definitely reduces the execution time of the algorithm. So once we have calculated distances based on these four variables, then there will be certain pre-specified value, or based on the data we will specify that particular value of t naught. So the differences which are less than t naught, those are only those will be considered, those are of interest for us. The distances which are greater than t naught, those different, those observations will not be entertained further. Those observations will be removed, and only we will focus on those observations which are having less than t naught distance from the test observation. And for those observations only we will calculate the complete distance in the sense distance with respect to all the variables. Now we have found out distance only with respect to four variables. Now instead, once we have subset, we have found subset of the entire data, we have found potential candidates which can be neighbors for the test observations. Once we have found them, then we will go with distance for all the, in terms of all the variables, and then based on that we will have. So here we do not need to have entire calculation for the entire data set. We will just have a scrutiny kind of test. So what we are doing over here is just a scrutiny kind of thing. From this scrutiny, certain observations will be deleted, and whatever remains, this is the first level test. So whoever passes in the first level test, they will be processed in the second level test. And in the second level test, in the first level test, we will just you will just say in the first level test we are taking differences between just four observations, four variables. And if some observation, so say some observation is there which is having a large distance from the test observation only in terms of these four variables, then that observation will not be considered. Anyhow, you are quite away from the test observation, therefore you doesn't qualify our criteria, so you can go home. We can tell that observation. So whichever observations are having distance less than t naught in terms of these four variables, only those will be accepted, and they will be transferred to the second stage. In the second stage, we will consider all the variables, and even if we want to reduce the execution time further. In the second stage also we can have, instead of say, suppose this k is say 50, there are 50 variables. In the next stage we can add some more observations, say the total 37 observations will, say 30 observations will be considered. Based on those 30 observations we can have another scrutiny. Out of these 87 observations, some observations may be deleted by comparing them with certain threshold value. And then again in the next stage we can have the true distances. So at the last stage we should have the true distances in the sense those distances should be measured in terms of each and every variable. So this is the technique by which we are going to reduce the execution time. So KNN classifier, even if it is having some drawbacks, this particular classifier is having some drawbacks, but there are different methods to tackle with them. Execution time can be reduced by using subset selection of the variables, and we can apply scrutiny test on those subset of variables. And then we can, whatever comes out, whatever filtering comes out, whatever filtered variables, filtered observations comes out, on them we can have the actual distance calculation, actual distance calculation, and then we can proceed with KNN classifier. If the variables are measured on different units and different scales, normalization will be done. If there are some categorical variables, while calculating distances between different categories, if there are only two categories, difference between them will be taken to be 1, otherwise it will be 0. But if there are three or more than three categories, then there will be certain kind of grading. So suppose three categories are like this, say poor, middle class, and rich. If these are the three categories, then naturally we'll have this difference as say zero point 0.5, this difference as zero point 0.5, and this poor and rich, this difference can be 1. This is a quite logical thing. So poor and middle, even if these are categories, these are not nominal categories, so to say. These are measured on ordinal scale. Ordinal scale in the sense there is some hierarchy in between them: poor, middle class, and rich. We will not say poor, rich, and middle class. There is some hierarchy in between. Either we will say rich, middle class, poor, or poor, middle class, rich. So there is some hierarchy, and therefore it is measured on ordinal scale. So if data is measured on ordinal scale, then this assigning distances, that becomes quite easy. So poor and middle class, they will be assigned these uh, categories. Between these two categories, difference will be assigned to be zero point 0.5. For these two categories, difference will be assigned to be zero point 0.5, and difference between poor and rich category, it will be assigned to be 1, because that is the maximum difference. Poor lies on one extremity, rich lies on other extremity. Therefore we should allow maximum possible difference between poor and rich, and we are having maximum possible difference as 1, and therefore poor and rich, these categories will be said to have difference of 1. Middle class will be somewhere in between poor and rich. Therefore accordingly we can have this difference between poor and middle class as zero point 0.5, middle class and rich as zero point 0.5. So by that particular approach we can deal with categorical variables in KNN classifier. So KNN classifier, even if it is having some drawbacks, those drawbacks, there are some methods to deal with those drawbacks, and KNN classifier is quite easy to apply, and therefore KNN classifier has got some practical applications in most of the data mining studies. KNN classifier is being used extensively. So even if there are some other classifiers